Hey everybody, I'm Joe Sullivan, a co-founder of industrial marketing agency Gorilla76, and today we're talking about SEO, or search engine optimization, for manufacturers. So there are all kinds of things that Google's going to take into account when deciding which pages to show you for any given search query. As of 2017, some of the top ranking factors include content relevance, quality, and comprehensiveness, links from other authoritative websites into your site, mobile device friendliness, page load speed, site security, and social media signals. But we really want you to focus on these first two because they're probably where you're going to get the most bang for your buck, especially if you're just getting started with SEO. So let's talk about this first one. You kind of have to think of Google as a business. The way that your business or my business competes with other businesses, Google competes with Yahoo and Bing and the other search engines. And in order to kind of remain the best search engine and to keep you coming back, Google's got to satisfy your search results on a regular basis. So let's just say you are a manufacturer of industrial ovens. It means your site is going to have some of the best, highest quality content out there about things like custom curing ovens and manufacturing furnaces or whatever topics are relevant to your business if you want Google to be consistently showing your pages to searchers who could be relevant customers for you. But what does the best content really mean? We really point to these three things: relevance, quality, and comprehensiveness. So is the content on your website relevant to the search queries that are probably being executed in Google searches by your audience? Is the content on your site of high quality? And we're going to talk later about sort of what signals to Google whether something's high quality or not. But in short, you really need to be just producing really good, educational, helpful, problem-solving content. And then the comprehensiveness of your content. Is it sort of shallow, surface level stuff on your site about your products and services, or are you really going into depth and answering questions and solving problems of your customers? And that's kind of the stuff Google's looking for these days. You got to consider also that you're not the only one out there producing content. If you were to do a Google search right now for industrial oven manufacturer, at least as of yesterday when I did this search, it turned up over 12 million page results. So of course that doesn't mean that there are 12 million industrial oven manufacturers out there, but it does mean that there are 12 million some pages that Google has deemed relevant in some way, shape, or form to that particular search query. So regardless of who your real life competition is, that's kind of what you're dealing with as far as competition goes online. So for your stuff to rise to the surface above all the garbage, you really need to focus on relevance, quality, and comprehensiveness for your content. Okay, so now that we've sort of talked about this idea of creating great content and getting all that stuff out there to represent you in the online space and hopefully attract the right people to you, we need to teach Google what that content's about. We need to help Google understand what all those pages on your site are about if Google's gonna be able to show those to people in the first place. So there's some best practices here that you're gonna wanna focus on individual pages of your website. And you need to think of every individual page on your website as a different keyword ranking opportunity. On every page on your site, you wanna choose a keyword that makes sense and sort of describes what this page is about, and you want to be able to use that in the page title. You want to use the same keyword in your URL or website address, in the main headline on your page, and maybe one of the subheadlines, and maybe a few times in the body copy. All this stuff sort of tells Google what this page is about and helps Google index it properly. What you don't want to do is overstuff this page with that keyword. That's kind of an antiquated practice that marketers used years ago to try to outsmart Google and game the system. Not only is Google not going to look at that as a beneficial thing for you now, you're probably going to get penalized for it. So keyword stuffing is a bad thing. You just want to be smart about using it in these proper places on the page so Google kind of understands what your page is about. Okay, so let's jump over to the second big SEO factor here: backlinks from authoritative websites to your website. Let's say this is your website right here. And then here's your sister's blog. Your sister writes a blog about your family, and because she's proud of you, she decides, oh, I'm going to mention my brother or my sister, and I'm going to link to your company website right here. Well, the first thing to note is that Google sees this link right here and is going to sort of recognize that this is a vote of confidence in a way for your site. But because your sister's blog probably isn't the most authoritative website out there, and because it's about your family and not about what your company does, this link's probably not going to help you a whole lot with SEO related to the things that are on your website. Now, on the other hand, let's say that you've been smart about getting your business listed in industry directories, and maybe you even wrote a guest article on a small industry journal site. Okay, Google sees this link and says, industry relevant website, fairly credible website. This link's gonna have some value in terms of SEO for your company. And then let's say you've really taken to heart this idea of writing this relevant, high quality content, and you've even gone as far as to get it out there and pitch it and promote it and try to get it picked up by industry journals. And all of a sudden engineering.com picks up your content, publishes one of your articles, links back to your site. This is all of a sudden a huge vote of confidence for your site. Tells Google that, this website must have some credibility because we've got these sort of industry relevant, credible sources linking back to it. Okay, so that's kind of the concept here. And not only are you getting exposure in front of the right audience and hopefully getting some click-throughs from these sites to yours, but those inbound links are really what gives you the SEO juice. So we've talked about creating the relevant content. We've talked about building backlinks from authoritative sites to your site. How do we go about actually making this happen is really the big question. And as far as the first point here goes, creating that relevant, really exceptional, high quality, comprehensive content, you got to start with the problems your customers are having and the questions they're asking on a regular basis, or conversations that these prospects are having with your sales team. If you can start answering some of those questions, solving some of those problems with written content or video content like this, that's the type of stuff you want to really focus on. Write educational articles, publish videos, publish case studies and white papers and things that are going to be helpful to your buyer or your potential customer during their buying process. And if you can start doing that stuff on a regular basis, maybe publishing 500 or 1,000 words of content a month, and then you start working towards 2,000, 3,000 words a month, it'll kind of start to snowball for you. But on the other side of things, building those backlinks and really telling Google that, yeah, these are credible, this is a credible source of information and these are good pieces of content. How do we sort of get that credibility in place? And that's about building those backlinks. And so you want to be able to promote all that content relentlessly. Reach out to editors of trade journals. If you work in the automotive space, you're a manufacturer of automotive parts, reach out to Automotive News. Or if you're in the food space, reach out to Food Manufacturing Magazine. Try to pitch your content, get that stuff picked up, and they'll build those links back to your site. And that's what's going to kind of move the needle from an SEO standpoint. So that's really it. In the page notes, I'm going to list some resources related to SEO. And I would also encourage you to subscribe to our newsletter to get content like this in your inbox a couple times a month. Thanks for watching.